Hello and welcome to Wedding Wednesdays with Weddings Online. My name is Kelly and I'm a former wedding planner and blogger, and I'm obsessed with weddings. If you're planning a wedding in Ireland, you're in the right place. You're going to learn the tried and tested methods to planning your dream wedding without the added stress. Think of this as your one-stop shop for everything to do with planning your wedding in Ireland, with me, your new wedding planning bestie, and a cup of tea. This is Wedding Wednesdays with Weddings Online. Well, hello and welcome to the very first episode of Wedding Wednesdays Online in our second year. That's right, this is our first anniversary of the Wedding Wednesdays podcast, and I'm celebrating with something special, so I encourage you to do the same. I know we say you should have a cup of tea, but you are most welcome to join me in having something a little bit better. I've got something pink in my glass today. And we are celebrating because it's the first anniversary of Wedding Wednesdays. Definitely a milestone. I'm so excited. And firstly, just a huge thank you to everyone who listens to the episodes. A huge thank you to everyone who sends messages. I get emails from lots of you. I get messages on Instagram, thanking us for the podcast and asking really good questions, which definitely helps to create good content because we know what you guys are asking. So thank you for all of those contributions. And also a huge thank you to all of our suppliers and wedding guest experts who have joined us on the podcast. It's so much easier to share expertise when I've got amazing people around me who know so much about the Irish wedding industry. So huge thank you to all of you. I'm going to take a sip in your honor. There we go. So before we get into the episode content, I wanted to rattle off a few highlights. Just 5 highlights from the first year of the Wedding Wednesdays podcast. So our most popular episode was titled, I'm Engaged, What Do I Do First? No surprise that that's a really popular one because the audience is couples who are engaged. So I'm really glad that you found that so insightful. We shared some really practical things of exactly what to do first so that you don't get caught up in all the many decisions that you get to make while planning your wedding. Next highlight, we had some special guests help us with another episode that was really popular that people are still talking about to this day. It was actually episodes 9 and 10, all about getting legally married in Ireland. I get asked questions all the time about how to do things. What about the appointments and the notifications and the green folder and what documents do I need? So we had some experts on the podcast who really helped us to go through all the details. And it was such a good episode that we decided to split it into 2 because there was so much meat in the episode that to have 2 really great episodes was just so good. So that was really, really fun. Our third highlight is our most requested topic was actually all about children. You guys really wanted to know everything to do with childcare at the wedding, inviting children, incorporating your own children into the wedding. And so we did a whole episode about that. Our next highlight is a special one for me. I had my husband on the podcast and we did a really fun couples quiz together. And in the notes for the episode, I shared all the questions so that you and your partner could do the same kind of quiz with each other. It was so much fun getting to know my partner and we had a right laugh. He actually revealed that out of all the things that we had at our wedding, if he could change anything, he would have wanted flowers, which I didn't realize until afterwards. So that was really cool. I'm getting to know that about him. And then our 5th highlight is we ended off the year last year by going through everything to do with getting engaged. And it was such a fun series. It was all about, everything to know about engagement rings, all the lingo with engagement rings. It was how to plan an amazing proposal, what to say when you propose, how to announce it. That whole 4-week series was loads of fun at the end of the year. And so we really have done a lot. We've done loads of episodes all about how to plan your wedding, how to think about really specific wedding decisions to make, answering really good questions that you guys have shared in. So it's been a great year. We are celebrating the Wedding Wednesdays podcast. I'm so excited to continue. And with this episode, we're beginning the 2nd year of the podcast. So it's been a good year. There's lots more to come. I still have loads of ideas. Haven't run out of topic ideas yet. But I do still welcome your questions. So if you have any wedding planning questions, please get in touch because I love to incorporate your questions and the answers, of course, into the episodes. But speaking of first anniversaries and celebrating anniversaries, today we're actually talking about first wedding anniversaries. And I am a huge believer in celebrating milestones, as you can tell. I'm also a huge believer in marriage. I think marriage is amazing. I've been married for just over 8 years, and it is probably the highlight of my life is being married to my husband, partially because he is awesome and also partially because marriage is awesome. And so I am a big champion of marriage and therefore a big champion of celebrating anniversaries. So every year my husband and I will celebrate in some way. Some years we've had more money than others and we've done really cool things, like going on like really nice trips and things, but other times we haven't had a ton of money and it's been a bit more low key. So it doesn't matter where you are on the budget scale. Maybe there are some anniversaries where you're going to splurge, like a 10th wedding anniversary. That's a great opportunity to splurge. But maybe you don't have a lot of money and for you it's a really like cozy night in watching a movie together. It doesn't matter what you do. What I would love to encourage you to do is to make a point of celebrating all of your wedding anniversaries, because what you're really doing is celebrating the fact that you are married, you are happy, and life is good. Even if it doesn't always feel good, to celebrate the good things is always worth doing. So my advice is to start a good tradition with your very first wedding anniversary, and it will set the tone for how you celebrate anniversaries in the years to come. And then as you grow your family, you can really show them that marriage is good and it's worth celebrating. So I'm going to give you a few ideas, and then we're going to end by going through some gift ideas too. So when it comes to celebrating, here are a few things. You can have a really fun night in, and it could be watching a movie together. It could be, having a glass of Prosecco. It could be cooking something together. It can be very, very relaxed. Maybe doing a couples quiz like we spoke about earlier, or playing a game. There's so much that you can do in your home. If you are really on a tight budget, it can still be fun. It's the attitude that counts, and it is the moment of celebration, not just the thing you do. But here are some things you can do if you want to venture out a little bit. You could go out for a meal. Super simple, but why not? If there's a place that you've had in mind that you really wanted to go to, put it in the diary, make that reservation, get your butts to the restaurant, and enjoy celebrating your anniversary there. You could also take time to look through your wedding photos. So I know most of us will post our wedding photos on social media, we'll share them with our friends and family, but a year later, sometimes we haven't thought about them in a while. So I know for me, to be able to look at my wedding photos on our first anniversary was really special. We actually have a USB with all our wedding photos, literally all of them. Not just the highlights, I'm talking like 900 photos. And I remember we had a bunch of friends and family over at different points, and we would put the USB in our TV and just have the photos going, as a kind of rolling screen with different pictures coming up. And it was so much fun. Next thing you could do is you could watch your wedding video. Many people will only watch the highlights video right after the wedding video comes out, and they will save the full wedding video for their first wedding anniversary. And I love that because it means you get to relive all those special moments, all those happy memories from your big day. And if you're anything like me, you'll spot something in your wedding video and go, I have no idea that even happened. I don't remember that at all. I have a very distinct memory of watching the video, seeing myself about to walk back up the aisle after being pronounced married, and my dad leaned over and kissed me on the cheek. And I have no memory of that, but I've seen it in the video, so it definitely happened. So watching your wedding video, always a good thing to do, whether it's just you and your partner or you invite your friends and family over to join you. Something else you could do is you could enjoy the top tier of your wedding cake. We actually did a whole episode about it, and I will link it in the notes along with some of the other episodes that I mentioned earlier. Enjoying the top tier of your wedding cake is so much fun because it's another way to relive that happy day. And so I walked you through all the the ins and outs of how to wrap the wedding cake so that it, so you can actually preserve it properly, but you can enjoy it on your wedding day if you preserve it well. You can get some Prosecco, always a good idea. You could go on an overnight trip, or you could go back to your wedding venue, and depending on what the venue is like, you may be able to have a meal there. If you're giving flowers, you could always recreate the wedding bouquet and gift that as, a wedding anniversary gift. There's so much that you can do. But speaking of gifts, I'm going to walk you through just a few ideas of what gifts you could give to each other. There is the traditional type of gift, and there's the modern gift. So as you might know, each anniversary comes with a specific thing that makes it a traditional wedding anniversary gift. So when it's your first wedding anniversary, the traditional gift is paper. The reason for that is the whole symbolism of paper is that it's fragile, just like the first year of marriage. But if you take care of it properly, it can last a lifetime, which is really, really special. And of course, paper also represents the fact that it's a blank sheet full of possibilities. And so that is the traditional gift. And then the modern gift is clocks. So clocks symbolize the passing of time, all the changes and the challenges that come with it. And also the time is precious. So whether you're opting for the traditional paper gift or the modern clocks gift, there's a lot of symbolism in it. It's not just about handing over a gift, but it's really acknowledging the symbolism behind, how life is fragile, time passes by, but how you can really enjoy that time. So here are a few ideas. For paper, now, the nice thing about going for paper is you can be really affordable if you want to. So if it's your first year of marriage and you are a little bit strapped for cash, paper is actually really good and quite a versatile gift. So now I'm definitely not suggesting handing your partner a blank sheet of paper and saying, look, this represents all the possibilities. We're going to get a bit more creative than that. So if budget is not a problem for you, plane tickets, always a good gift. Print them out, put them in an envelope, hand them over as a gift and say, hey, we're going on a trip. Who doesn't love that? Second idea, scratch card world map. I actually have one of these. It is not framed yet and it's still rolled up in the tube that it came in, but the idea is awesome. So it's a map of the world, but it's a scratch card. So every time you and your partner visit a new country together, you can scratch it off on the map, and it's kind of a representation of the adventures that you've had together. And so in giving that as a gift on your first anniversary, you're saying, hey, look, these are the adventures we're going to go on, and we're going to scratch this every single time we do something fun together when we travel. Another idea is you could print some of your wedding photos, you could frame them, you could get a wedding album made. It's never too late to get a wedding album made. You don't have to do it immediately after getting married. In fact, you may have been married, gotten photos taken, and perhaps your photographer doesn't do wedding albums. There are many other photographers who do wedding albums, even if they aren't the ones who took your photo. So I will also drop a link in the notes to where you can find people who will put together an amazing wedding album for you. You could print a couple of other things, such as your wedding vows, print those, you could frame them and display them in your home, or the lyrics to your wedding song. Could be the song that you walked down the aisle to, or your first dance song. Print the lyrics, get them framed, maybe even with a photo of the first dance or the walking down the aisle moment. What about something like an illustration or a piece of artwork? Could even be an illustration of your wedding venue or something on your wedding day. What about a couple's cookbook? Cookbooks are always fun, and it also demonstrates that it's a couple's cookbook, so it's something you're going to do together. You could get a personalized diary or planner. I'm a big diary person. I love to write down notes. And if I had a personalized one with my name engraved on it, I would love that. A special book is always good. I'm also a big reader, so a reading subscription is good. Remember, paper, reading, books. And finally, I know we spoke about plane tickets, but what about tickets to some other kind of experience, like a show or a concert of some kind, a comedy show maybe? Tickets obviously symbolize the experience. And then when we're looking at clocks, I've got 4 ideas for you. So remember we said clocks represent the fact that time is precious. So you could have a clock that is actually personalized with your names and your wedding date that you can display in your home. Or maybe a clock that has something like your wedding venue inscribed on it. I've seen really beautiful photos of, clocks that have Irish castle wedding venues inscribed into them. How about something like an origami wall clock? Now, if you don't know anything about origami, it is the art of paper folding. So if you give an origami wall clock, you're giving both the traditional paper gift and the modern clock gift together, which is kind of genius if you ask me. And finally, if you're feeling fancy, you got a little bit more money, a good clock gift is to give a really nice watch. I'm not a watch person, and neither is my husband, thank goodness, because they're expensive. But if your partner is super into watches, that is a really good wedding anniversary gift, especially if you can get it engraved with your name or a message from you on the back. So that's it for today. It's been great celebrating the 1-year anniversary of Wedding Wednesdays with Weddings Online. Thank you very much for listening over the last year, and I look forward to many, many more episodes with you. So please don't hesitate to get in touch if you have any wedding planning questions, because I would love to answer them. Thank you for listening today. The Wedding Wednesdays with Weddings Online podcast is produced by me, Kelly, and mixed, mastered, and edited by Glenn Hartman. For more wedding planning tips, advice, checklists, and more, visit weddingsonline.ie.